You're watching an NDTV exclusive. It's now been close to 4 days since Ghulam Nabi Azad, senior Congress leader, resigned. Not just his resignation, but it was the bombshell letter that he wrote while resigning that is still sending shockwaves across the political spectrum. And he joins me on NDTV for an exclusive interview. Thank you very much, Azad Saab, for joining us. Now, Azad Saab, many others have also been leaving the Congress party and have been critical of it. You, through all this time, have been restrained. You've not been coming out so strongly. But something seems to have finally pulled that trigger for you. That not only did you quit, but you came out guns blazing, targeting particularly Rahul Gandhi. What was that trigger? What was the tipping point that led to this?
Actually, we were losing elections after elections for quite some time. And in 2013, January, when we had AIC session in Jaipur, so there was a group. Whenever we have a session, AICC members are divided into 4 groups: economic group, political affairs, and like that, and organization. So mostly I have been chairing the organization group for quite some time, for decades.
Right.
So knowing that the election is coming next year, that means 2014, so we had another 1 year and 3 to 4 months. So I and my group spent 2 days brainstorming session with the AICC members. Even Mrs. Gandhi and Mr. Rahul Gandhi spent maximum time in our group listening us. And the recommendations were approved by the CWC. And it was something time-bound program. This was preparations for forthcoming Lok Sabha election in 2014.
Right.
And the work was supposed to start within 15 days across the country so that we can win 2014.
Right.
After having passed, but at that time, and we were supposed to discuss the next day, full day,
Right.
these resolutions. Of course, the AICC members were part of it all, but still open session. But then he was made vice president and everything was abandoned, nothing to be discussed that day. But yet, since it was recommendation were passed by the CWC and these recommendations had emanated from the AICC members, some had come from us and some had come suggestions from the AICC members. A booklet was distributed among the members. And then we were supposed to start work within 15 days. So I reminded Mrs. Gandhi, and more so since the vice president had taken over, and Mrs. Gandhi had almost taken the back seat, and he was supposed to be very active and coordinate and take the organization. So entire that year, I must have reminded with the book and shown this what we have to do. Didn't paid any man. He last 14. So no program was implemented.
Right.
No program.
You reminded Rahul many times about
Many
it.
times. Then after 2014 also I reminded him a number of times. Now for next election, till today is now 9 years. Those recommendations are lying in the store of AICC. So we are not making an effort. We are not making an effort to improve the condition of the Congress. We have been losing, I have mentioned in my letter, we have contested 49 state elections, we have lost 39. And those 10 states we won, when in the second election we lost them also.
Right.
And now the stage has come that Congress has only 2 states of its own.
Sure.
And in 2 states we are poor, allies, like in
Tamil Nadu and...
No.
You're talking
We are not in the government. I'm talking Bihar.
Oh, acha, where you're in
out
the
of 36, 37,
where you're in the
we have
government.
two
Okay.
ministers.
Right.
Two ministers out of.
Right.
Huh? I raised the voice on that also. The other partners, they are getting 4 ministers on every 10 MLAs. And we are getting 1 minister on 10 MLAs.
Okay, so you're saying that you finally had to resign or
No,
quit
not
because of
only
this
that. No, not
the
only.
successive
The-
decline.
Then came my individual letter through the leadership, individual letter, in which I had, as leader of opposition, members of the parliament from both the houses come to me, meet me, senior leaders from across the state, because you are not meeting them. They try to approach you both, but they are not able to meet you. Mrs. Gandhi was still meeting some people, not all the people, not
Right.
possible. But RG was not meeting anybody. So they were meeting me. I wrote a letter that this is the feeling. There we don't have the blocks, we don't have districts, we don't have PCC.
Right.
We didn't have the elections of working committee, election committee for the last 25 years. The earlier, for almost 3 decades, from 1885 onwards, almost 3 to 4 decades, the election of the president and working committee were taking place after every 1 year.
Right.
Then after every 2 years. Now here it is 25 years, no election. So how new people will come?
So
So you stop this appointment system.
right. So you wrote to
Mrs. Gandhi.
Sonia Gandhi about this. So you're saying that
Of course, she shared with Rahul Gandhi, both spoke to me. I said, they said, what is the grudge? I said, the senior leaders have the grudge that you people don't meet them, you don't coordinate. I said that Mrs. Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi had to coordinate with at least 1,000 leaders.
Right.
Because that time the family was huge.
But now you're saying that
the
it's
family,
stopped.
now the family has shrunk. You are only 30, 40 leaders,
yeah.
whether from our side, your side, or left. You should coordinate your 3 family members. He said, some general secretary will coordinate. He said, when I was minister, he was in school.
Who said that? A general said. Rahul said.
Mrs. Gandhi.
Mrs. Gandhi said.
Then Rahul Gandhi separately spoke to me, what is the grudge? They were not together, of course, they had shared them. Then he said, no, I would tell if another general secretary, he mentioned the name, to coordinate. I said, his father has worked under me. Huh? So what will I coordinate
Who
with
is
him?
this general secretary you mentioned?
Whatever,
Okay,
far
whatever.
junior.
Right. Okay.
When you can say his father
Yes.
has worked me in the organization,
Okay.
you can imagine.
All right. Understood. Right.
So I said, what are you talking? The senior people, ex-chief ministers, union ministers, how can they, somebody? Then when seeing this attitude that they were not ready to coordinate, then we wrote 23. Of course, these 23 were,
The group,
were the part of that letter when I single.
Sure.
Sent as leader of opposition. Now the people are saying I am doing it for MP. I was MP, I was leader of opposition.
At the time when you...
I had another 1 year to go as MP.
But I'll come to that in a second. But I want to ask you though about the way in which in your letter you clearly set up Rahul as the main reason for what you see as the destruction of the Congress party. Right? Where you say that he has demolished the consultative mechanism of the party, he's behaved in an immature way.
Why?
Yeah. Why do you single him out?
Because the consultative politics existed in Mrs. Indira Gandhi. During Indira Gandhi's time, I was General Secretary of Youth Congress, I was National President of Youth. Particularly, I was National President when Sanjay Gandhi was not there, Rajiv Gandhi had not entered into the politics. So I could meet her as 3 times. I remember 4 times also I have met in a day to Mrs. Gandhi, the Prime Minister.
Sure. But now you're saying...
consultative.
Yeah.
And,
Rahul?
And Sonia Gandhi, let us be fair to her, from 98 to 2004, she was totally consulting the senior leaders.
Okay.
She was depending on them. She will accept their recommendation. And she would give the responsibility.
You're saying Rahul is not doing...
Which is why Mrs. Gandhi gave me 8 states during her tenure. I won 7 states.
Right.
She did not interfere.
Okay.
Not even ticket distribution she did not. But after Rahul Gandhi came into the parliament, from 2004, and immediately he became General Secretary, Mrs. Gandhi started depending more on Rahul Gandhi to coordinate.
Right.
He had no aptitude of doing that. And after her consultative process, that also receded,
Right.
because he wanted everybody to coordinate with Rahul Gandhi, which Rahul Gandhi would not do. So he depended that Rahul Gandhi should do, maybe with a good faith she did, because he will get experience, he will get acquainted with the work, he will get know who is who. But he didn't do that. And after 2013 January, when she made him the vice president,
Right.
she almost handed over the presidentship to him.
And you're saying he never met, took everybody along. What if the Congress turns around and say that is not true? He has had, CWCs were held. He was present there. You were also there.
CWC is nothing. CWC is meaningless. This present CWC for the last almost a decade and a half is meaningless. Earlier, when it used to be 20 member and president, in Indira Gandhi's time,
Sure.
Rajiv Gandhi's time.
Sure.
As president of Youth Congress, I used to be special invitee in Indira Gandhi's
Right.
time, a working committee. I think there were 1 or 2, only Youth Congress president, no NSI Sevadal, and maybe one other INTUC president, special invitee. So 21 plus 2, special invitee. I don't remember in Rajiv Gandhi's time, when I was General Secretary and Parliamentary Board member, there was no special invitee.
So you're saying
so
under
there was,
Rahul,
no,
yeah.
So there was no Sonia. But Sonia Gandhi, earlier it used to be only working committee. Now last 10 years, working committee is 25 and 50 are special invitee.
Okay, so you're saying the CWC is meaningless. Rahul Gandhi, it could be argued by his thing, that he says that he actually couldn't function because of the senior leaders that were not supporting him, and that's why he resigned.
Congress, working committee and leaders, including me, supported him to the extent of we signed on dotted lines. But the reason he gave in the working committee that senior leaders didn't cooperate me, and the example he cited, I don't want to say on television.
No, but
No, I don't want to say that
but you have, I've heard you said that he said that Chaukidar Chor hai slogan
whatever.
that you didn't, which he had taken out in the last election against Narendra Modi, that none of you backed him on that.
But is this the policy? Is this the, now you have said, is this the policy? We had been chief ministers. Now, we have got political education under Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Mrs. Indira Gandhi, while I was junior minister, she called Fotedar and me once that you should keep meeting Atal Bihari Vajpayee. You know, see the difference between leader and leader.
So you're saying this kind of language
So she said,
is against your,
he said,
is
after
against
all,
your
he is,
culture.
after all, Atalji is also a politician. He must also wanting to do some work to be done, but he will be hesitant to talk to me. So you ask him and he should do.
Right.
So we have got that type of education that you should respect elders and you should give equal respect to opposition leaders. We have not been taught to say in the public, Prime Minister is chor hai. And what have we got?
Did you say that at the meeting, that we are not, this is not part of our...
No, he made everybody to, raise their hands who said Chaukidar Chor.
He asked for a show of hands.
Yeah, I was sunk in the chair. So many senior people who have been chief minister, who have been ministers with Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Narasimha Rao. How do you expect from them to speak this language in public?
And he, once again, this is, he asked
We can write left and center. oppose Modi, his policies, his way of functioning. But we can't go for personal, somebody chore and all.
No, but he also asked for a show of hands. We're talking about a group which has some very senior people sitting, right? There was you, is Dr. Manmohan Singh also there? No, just to clarify.
Yeah, Manmohan Singh was there. Anthony was there. I was there. Chittambaram was there. Everybody was there.
And he said, "Put up your hands." Those who use the word "Chaukidar Chor." Okay.
Okay.
But let me ask you this.
Don't ask me that.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
But is this an excuse of resigning?
Right?
Is this the language the senior cabinet minister should follow him?
But the question though that does come up in this is that you seem to kind of single out Rahul and not really take on Sonia Gandhi. You seem to suggest that no, hold on, but because ultimately she is the one who was also aware. I'm sure she was aware of all this and didn't do anything. Rahul was allowed to do pretty much, as you said, all of this.
All mothers are like that.
What do you mean by that? You're saying that this is a mother's weakness, that she didn't intervene?
All mothers have, maybe my mother, your mother, weakness for their children.
No, but this is not about, someone who is taking
No,
this. But I'm saying this is a national. No, I'm saying this is important. This is a national party. This is a national party.
I have a great.
This is a very old party.
I have a great.
This is not your family.
No, I have
matter.
a great. I have family relations. I have great regard for Mrs. Gandhi, and she was always nice to me. And even till yesterday, she was nice to me. She's very humble, very compassionate, and very good woman. But somehow, she ignored what Mr. Rahul Gandhi was doing. And
but isn't that a problem, Ghulam Sahab? Because this is not, we're not talking about a family dispute. This involves India's leading opposition party. So doesn't she also become responsible, if going by what you're saying, for what has happened to the Congress?
It has happened, so what can we do?
No, but I'm saying just because you didn't mention Sonia. What about?
So when I was tired, so when nothing could be heard in either of the two places,
yes.
So it's better. Not that she would hear even till 3 months to me.
Right.
But the decision would come from somewhere else. It was not implemented.
From
natural.
From Rahul. But when you say that it had reached the point where Rahul's team, decisions were being taken by security guards and PAs.
Yeah, I have the proof.
Security guards.
Yeah, he asked them who's who.
To take what decision?
No, he asked them वो कैसा है president रहेगा, कैसा ये रहेगा. अरे हम भी 50 साल से हमारे सीनियर IAS ऑफिसर सेक्रेटरीज रहे हैं. हमने 50 साल उनसे नहीं पूछा कौन क्या कैसा है, अफसर कौन कैसा रहेगा.
When you say security guards, who do you mean? No, like for example, there's a gentleman, Baiju, who's handling Rahul Gandhi's security.
I'm not saying anybody.
Do you mean people like that are taking decisions?
Everybody knows in Congress party, who they are. And through whom they reach him. And who are the people who tell those people, senior people, that we have discussed nothing, it will happen.
So you're saying everybody knows who they are.
Yeah.
But the other question being raised is that your grievances or your problems, you cite the example of 2013, where Rahul tore up the ordinance which was brought at that time when UPA was in government. This is an ordinance pertaining to criminal, candidates convicted of criminal charges, Supreme Court order. Since you said that single act demolished or was contributing to the collapse of the UPA government. You think it was
collapse in the sense that
it aided.
That eroded the authority
Yes.
of the Prime Minister and entire cabinet. I don't know, Rahul ji knows till today how the ordinance are issued. The ordinance is prepared by the ministry concerned. Then it goes to the cabinet. The cabinet passes under the chairmanship of Prime Minister. Then it goes to the Prime Minister. So anything passed by under the leadership of head of the government and head of the state, and you tear it off in public
domain.
In public.
But the question is, that was almost something which happened 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Why? The question is then why are you bringing? Why didn't you raise it then? You were a minister in the
I
UPA
was
government.
minister, naturally.
So
I was
उस वक्त
minister.
आपने you didn't raise it.
You
Then?
know, पानी कब बाहर जाता है तालाब से? जब भर जाता है. You know, if you fill up a pond, when will water come out of the pond? When it is full.
So you're saying the water has reached now the level for you
Yeah.
after all these years of.
Yeah.
Jairam Ramesh has tweeted, you must have seen. Everyone and many people in the Congress have come out and criticized what you said. Jairam Ramesh, a man who has been treated by the greatest respect by the Congress leadership, has betrayed it by his vicious personal attacks, which reveals his true character. GNA's DNA has been modified or modified. Is the
I don't
insinuation.
because a person whose biodata in Congress party nobody knows. Nobody knows which state does he belong.
Jairam Ramesh.
Which district he belong, which party he belonged to. He was never in Youth Congress, NSUI, he was never in Congress, he was not in block committee, district committee, state committee, PCC. All of a sudden, by doing these tweets, we saw him becoming MP, we saw him becoming cabinet minister. And he is the one in cabinet minister who would put his telephone on so that the media people will listen. That is the type of person. He is the person in house. He sleeps with the, with that top, your computer. Laptop. And gives messages. The earlier he used to plant messages, plant stories against the government, against the opposition leaders. Now he is planting stories against me. So many dirty stories.
Planting stories against which government you're talking about?
Whether present government or any government or any opposition party or across the regional parties. Because he is 24/7 doing all these planting of stories. He's a great story very famous for planting the stories then and now. So his job is this. That's why he has put media ahead.
But he's now a very senior leader in the party.
Which leader?
No, I'm saying in terms of the position or the responsibility is given.
For doing this dirty job. Has ever he been in, you ask any state, has he ever been in the party?
Okay, but moving aside from Jairam Ramesh himself, but I'm saying the suggestion, and this is something which earlier also came up, especially, during that whole moment when at your farewell in the Rajya Sabha, the Prime Minister hugged you, both of you became emotional. The suggestion has been that somewhere along the line, you are drifting towards the BJP, or there is now a kind of a talmel with the BJP.
Why are in 7 years as opposition leader, in front of Prime Minister, on every occasion I have taken him on his wrong policies, implementation of policies, unemployment, J&K, downgrading the state. It may be CA, it may be any other issue. But this was a particular moment. Why are they reading?
But the hug, the emotions.
What about the hug?
The tears.
No, what about Rahul Gandhi's hug? After speaking against him 5 minutes and goes and hug him. What about that? What was that?
That the Prime Minister did get emotional at your,
No. Again, I don't know why these educated people see only tears. Why don't you see and read what he has spoken? He is citing an example when I was Chief Minister, when Gujarat tourists were killed by militants.
Right.
He's talking about.
That made him emotional, you're saying?
No, all the time, whenever he spoke me that day, all the time I was weeping.
Right.
I was crying.
Right.
So he was just remembering that, which he said, that as if somebody, family member had died.
Okay. But just to get this clarified from you, I know you've said this elsewhere, but BJP, are you considering at all joining the BJP?
I think those who are, this was also spread by Congress by our, after that our letter. After letter 23,
Yes.
they were again, and this man was the first man, Jairam.
Okay.
Even when I got Padam Bhushan, so he was the first one to eat.
Yes.
But forgetting that 1 year before, the ex-chief minister, Mr. Gogoi, and ex-chief minister of Nagaland, S.C. Jamir, were given Padam Bhushan. And they were welcomed and congratulated by AICC. And Ghulam Nabi Azad, who fought militancy in Punjab earlier, I resigned from the ministry
Yes.
and assigned, got the job of, Punjab for 4 years. And I was there till the elections were held and till the government was installed.
Sure.
And then Kashmir. So if I will not get Padam Bhushan for that job, our friend chairman of media committee, will he get Padam Bhushan for tweeting the
No, but coming back to
for planting the stories?
Okay, but coming back to the BJP question though, are you going to is that an option for you, BJP?
I am no party I am joining. That's why I have said launching party.
You're launching your own party in Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah, Jammu Kashmir, and maybe later on national level.
But BJP? No.
No party.
No party.
No party. If I can't join national conference, with whom we had half a dozen time alliance, how can you think of which are ideologically North Pole and South Pole? How can we? Personal relation.
What if BJP in Jammu and Kashmir wants to have a tie-up with you?
Because
will you agree?
neither they will get benefited from me nor I will get benefited. Their vote bank, need not to be said, is a particular vote bank. My vote bank is another particular vote bank.
But TDP and PDP and BJP have there has been an alliance in the past.
They had not alliance. They had a formation of a government.
So you will not do any political business with the BJP. You're ruling that out completely?
There's no question.
Last question I want to ask you. You're quitting at a
If
time.
somebody knows ABC of Jammu and Kashmir,
Yes.
ABC,
Yes.
I'm unfortunate that our leaders who started this campaign, and the BJP, he's going to BJP, they are going to make president, they are going to make him vice president. It emanated from Congress leadership, Congress party to defame me. It emanated from there. Then media people took up. Had they known ABC of Jammu Kashmir, they would have realized neither benefit, BJP will get one vote benefit,
Right.
nor I will get aligning with BJP one vote benefit.
Okay, last I want to ask you, we're doing this interview at a time when you resigned at a time when the Congress was actually attempting to suggest that they are now planning to change the leadership. This whole idea that, people like Rahul, etc. are not able to run the party. So now there is going to be elections. No, hold on. And that there will be a non-Gandhi who may likely be made president. You're not convinced of that. You don't
Not
think,
at all.
You don't
Because-
think it's going to be a significant.
Because the G23, when we said election at block, district, and state level, and subsequently at the national level. What is the first process? ABC to have membership. How the membership is made? In villages, you have to go house to house.
So you're saying that whole process is what? Is being
Farce.
rigged? Is a farce.
And in cities, you have to go mohalla to mohalla.
You're saying none of
Again,
that has
some
happened.
leaders at block level have said, taken the voter list, made the voter list, and on voter list and 100 in this village,
But suppose
and deposited the money.
So suppose the new president comes, it is not a Gandhi. You think that person is not going to be able to make
When
a change?
the bank is looted and you make the general manager of that bank is that bank general manager, the general manager of that bank of Almiras and other things.
No, but suppose
in the bank there is
No,
nothing.
in your letter also you've said that whoever comes is going to be a puppet or a or whatever.
Besides puppet, there
is
should
going
be
to
there should be organization left.
Okay, but suppose an organization has to be left for somebody to lead it. You're
yeah.
saying it's too late, but there is talk, for example, that Ashok Gehlot, Chief Minister of
Who's
Rajasthan, may come. No, hold on. He's a strong leader, considered to be with grassroots. Suppose somebody like him becomes, you still think you don't find that credible? You don't think that's going to make a difference?
What will he do in UP? What will he do in Bihar? What will he do in Bengal? What will he do in Assam? What will he do? Now is Gujarat in charge. Let us see what will he do in Gujarat. What will he do in Odisha? What will he do in Tamil
You're saying these are
Nadu?
all
What will he
states?
do in Kerala?
You're saying these are all states where the Congress is...
Yeah, they're nothing. Can he bring one vote? Anybody else? I'm not talking Ashok Gehlot. Any person
saying-
will bring. Can he? Anybody in Jammu Kashmir? Can they bring one vote? Can the Punjab bring one vote?
Okay.
So what is there?
So you're saying it is too late for
It's
the
too
Congress? Nothing can be done. You say Rahul Gandhi has been presiding over this.
Personally, I have no grudge. Personally, he's a nice man, gentleman. He has been always respectful to me. But as a politician, he doesn't have the aptitude.
He doesn't have the aptitude. Okay.
I'm not kidding. I have a personal great regard for him. To me, he was always respectful, at least in front of me.
Okay.
I don't know what was he behind the back, but it means he was very respectful to me.
Okay.
And I respect that gesture. And as a person, I will respect him.
But you're saying he doesn't have the aptitude
He
for...
doesn't have the aptitude of the politics.
Okay.
And he doesn't have the aptitude of hard work.
Right. Well, let us see how it...
Like his father, grandmother, and uncle.
Sister, you've not mentioned at all.
No, sister is my like daughter. I don't say.
He's like, okay.
I have been saying her right from the beginning, you are my like elder. You know, Rajiv Gandhi and myself, we were inseparable.
Should she have taken on the leadership role? Priyanka
That is
Gandhi?
for the family to
That is
decide.
for-
Family.
Okay.
I
Alaf
don't
Saab,
know.
let us see how it all plays out. But thank you very much indeed for talking to us and all the best
Thank
with
you.
your future plans. Thank you so much.
Thank you.